Ministry of Livestock Development unequivocally frowns at open grazing in Federal Capital Territory. Nigeria Customs Service confirms suspension of 4% free on-board charge on imports. And boosting food security as well as reducing post-harvest losses, development experts crave improved public-private partnership approach. Hello and welcome to the News Desk at 3 on NTA News 24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. The Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Meha, says cattle roaming the streets of the Federal Capital Territory will soon be a thing of the past. He stated this during the ministry's maiden media retreat organised for livestock journalists in Kaduna with the theme Driving Livestock Growth Through Strategic Communication. Yusuf Jika reports.
Cattle roaming streets of Abuja is gradually becoming a source of concern not only to its residents but to the city's status. This was among the concerns brought to the fore at the media retreat organized by the Ministry of Livestock Development for livestock journalists, where the minister said plans are underway to relocate cattle roaming Abuja Center City to the 4 gazetted grazing reserves in the territory, reiterating the ministry's commitment to unlocking full potentials of the livestock industry for economic growth and prosperity.
Those 4 grazing reserves has a total land area of 33,000 hectares of land. We are going to also do an evaluation of security concerns, the availability, functionality of social amenities in those grazing reserves.
We will address the challenges inherent in the livestock sector as well as the abundant opportunities available.
Participants at the retreat undertook on a ranch guided tour in Zaidi Farm led by the minister Idi Mukhtar Meha, highlighting the beauty of ranching and its multi-dimensional benefits, saying pastoralism is no longer sustainable.
And this is the picture we want to replicate across the country going forward. Under the president's, under this government's renewed hope agenda, the livestock component is preaching what we are seeing here.
Ranching is a process and is possible. It is the future of the livestock industry that requires the support of all stakeholders. In Kaduna, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the call for more agricultural investment is getting louder. Experts are adamant on creating frameworks to boost food security, reduce post-harvest losses, and attract more people into farming. The conversation on Good Morning Nigeria emphasized the need for synergy among the 3 tiers of government and the private sector to create an enabling environment where agriculture can thrive in Nigeria. Alika Manachi Arua reports.
Guest on Good Morning Nigeria says leveraging technology for smart agriculture and sensitizing more youth to go into the sector will help increase food production and reduce unemployment in Nigeria. They further stressed the need for proper infrastructure in place to convey food from farm to market, in addition to investing in cold chain methods to reduce post-harvest losses.
If you cannot have good storages, if you don't have people with money elsewhere to support internally investments that will be sustainable, all these issues will leave you where you are.
The new mantra of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, 4 things, 4 sentences, very sharp ones. 1, better production. 2, better nutrition. 3, better environment. And 4, better life for all the citizens of the world.
The guests suggest greenhouse farming and irrigation equipment for farmers.
FAO or FAO should just be a support agency. We should think it through. If we have the Professor Gambos in this country, we should be able to return them, okay, to research centers that can be funded to begin to participate in now proving outputs.
They called on Nigerians to take interest in farming and not leave the business of food production to the government alone. In Abuja, Alika Okpanachi, Arua, NTA News.
And following the effective implementation of agricultural policies of the Kogi State government, there is a steady decline in food prices across the state, based on the recent information from the State Ministry of Information and Communications. Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Kingsley Famwo, disclosed this in Lokoja, explaining that increased production combined with government's measures against hoarding has stabilized the food supply chain and brought relief to households. He says a market survey shows that the price of a 50-kilogram bag of rice, which sold for about 85,000 naira in March, now goes for between 62 and 65,000 naira. A medium-sized tuber of yam, previously about 2,000 naira, now sells for 1,200 naira, while a paint bucket of cassava flakes, gari, has dropped from 3,500 naira to 2,400 naira. Prices of maize and corn have also fallen across the state. The commissioner revealed that over 1 million seedlings of cashew and palm were planted this year alone in Kogi. A development, he says, could inject over 100 billion naira into the state's agro-economy within 3 years. The commissioner assured that Governor Ododo remains committed to making Kogi a leading food hub in Nigeria, stressing that agriculture will continue to drive food security, job creation, and economic growth in the state. He added that many investors are already showing interest in the state's agricultural sector. In other news, the Nigeria Customs Service has confirmed the receipt of a directive from the Federal Ministry of Finance suspending the implementation of the 4% free on board charge on import goods. A statement by the Service Public Relations Officer Abdullahi Maiwada says that Customs has commenced consultations with the ministry to explore alternative measures that will ensure uninterrupted service delivery to stakeholders during the suspension period. The service also clarified reports suggesting that the levy was a recent introduction, stressing that the provision was established by the National Assembly under Section 18, subsection 1A of the Nigeria Customs Service Act 2023. The law stipulates not less than 4% of the free on-board value of imports according to international best practices as part of the service's statutory funding mechanism. He assured stakeholders, including traders, licensed customs agents, and international partners, that operations would continue seamlessly despite the suspension. Now, to promote economic growth and financial inclusion, the Central Bank of Nigeria has conducted a public fair in Kano to educate Nigerians on ways to achieve price stability in the domestic markets. The event focused on the use of alternative payment channels to support small and medium enterprises. Awal Salisu has details.
The public fair in Kano, organized by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, serves as a platform designed to bring the bank closer to the people and shed light on policies driving Nigeria's economic growth. With the theme driving alternative payment channels as tool for financial inclusion, growth and accelerated economic development, the event focused on how digital innovations are transforming the financial landscape, especially for small and medium enterprises.
The core objective of this engagement, therefore, is to sensitize members of the public on the bank policies that enhance their lives and livelihood and contribute to the growth and development of the Nigerian economy.
The CBN also introduced the Unified Complaints Tracking System and a USSD code for verifying licensed institutions, reinforcing consumer protection and transparency.
The CBN policy geotagging creates a situation whereby from each location you can tell where a money is being transferred, which is a measure in which you can curb fraud, ensure transparency, and give that confidence to people that are transferring money.
Each and every customer should be given the right of equality, irrespective of the amount of money or the transaction you make.
Participants were encouraged to rely on official CBN platforms for accurate information and to respect the Naira as a symbol of national pride. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Efforts to secure the nation's borders and postal services have continued as the Nigeria Postal Service, NIPOST, has intercepted a consignment containing 7 pouches of cannabis concealed inside a duvet cover that arrived in Lagos from Thailand. In a press release by Ibrahim Musa, Director of Corporate Communication at NIPOST, the shipment was addressed to a recipient in Lagos and investigations are ongoing. NIPOST reaffirms its zero-tolerance policy for the use of its network for illicit activities and vows to thwart attempts by criminals to exploit its services. In line with the federal government's renewed hope agenda, NIPOST remains committed to ensuring the industry serves as a catalyst for national security, economic growth, and public trust. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has prayed for a world filled with peace, standing firm against the provocations of war. This was when she received the ambassador of the State of Qatar to Nigeria, Ali bin Ghanem Al Hadri, in her office. While reacting to a recent attack in Doha, the Qatari capital, the First Lady called for more understanding among nations, noting that peace, as espoused by major religions, is close to the heart of God.
We just pray that our world will have peace and then we can live in love as the dictates of Allah. I think, the Muslim religion faith is about peace, and the Christian faith is also the same.
The visit of the ambassador, which held mainly behind closed doors, explored how to break new ground of partnerships between Renewed Hope Initiative and the Qatar Foundation for Education, Science and Community Development in Doha, especially towards promotion of the Al-Majri system of education and addressing the challenges of out-of-school children in the country. Elsewhere, Northeast Zone youth leaders of the National Youth Council of Nigeria have appealed to the Ministry of Youth Development, the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Youth Initiative, Delivery and Monitoring, as well as state governments in the Northeast Geopolitical Zone, to support the programs of the Council at the national level towards consolidating its strides. Chairman of the Forum of NYSCN in the Northeast Zone, in a communique after its meeting in Yola, Adamawa State, stated that they have notified the relevant authorities of the federal and state governments, while also soliciting their support to ensure the successful conduct of the National Elective Congress, as they reaffirm their resolve to support the candidature of Ambassador Sukobu Saraigbe for a second term in office for the good of the future of Nigerian youths. They also promised to galvanize massive support in the various states within the zone to ensure an overwhelming victory of Sukubu at the elective Congress. This is the News Desk at 3 on NTA News 24. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
Feel the power of precision, engineered to perfection. Every component is crafted with care, and each design is meticulously tested. From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blending performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Boss, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.
Welcome back. The Kogi State government has urged a peaceful resolution To the dispute over the Ajepe Ogbani sector of the Osuku chieftaincy stool in the Kogi local government area. In a meeting in Lokoja led by the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Salami Momodu Ozig Didat, both Mohammed Tanko Musa, the Makama Dogo of Osuku, and His Royal Highness Al Hassan Abdul Mumuni, the Oinoi of Osuku, addressed the issue. Ozig Didat encouraged both parties to resolve the matter amicably and stressed that chieftaincy titles should be treated with honor. The Makamadogo and the Oinoyu praised the leadership of Governor Haji Usman Ododo and affirmed their commitment to peace. Hassan Ibrahim, along with Justice Danladi Yakubu and other representatives, expressed their appreciation for how the chieftaincy issue was resolved. Now, every child has the right to safe and quality healthcare from the very beginning. This message resonated across the global today, September 17th, as the international community marks the 2025 World Patient Safety Day. In Nigeria, the focus is on raising national awareness about safety risks in pediatric and newborn care. Oluseye Hadiagbo reports on how health partners championed by the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare came together to commemorate the day.
According to the WHO, millions of patients experience preventable adverse events globally, with infants and newborn being disproportionately impacted.
From safe child and postnatal care to immunization safety, infection prevention, and the early recognition of complications, we must ensure that no child is left behind or suffers untoward consequence for lack of or inappropriate use, applications, or interventions.
Patient safety is no longer an abstract idea. It is a practical imperative, one that we must own, one that we must act on, and one that we must deliver collectively as a country.
WHO standards endorsed by member states are improving the quality of care for mothers, newborn, and children, and even the small or sick infants. These efforts are making a difference, but you've still heard what the percentages are. We must do more.
The National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRIA, and the Wildlife Justice Commission, WJC, have signed a Memorandum of Understanding in a move aimed at strengthening wildlife protection in the country. The MOU, signed at NESRIA's headquarters in Abuja by the Director General of NESRIA, Professor Innocent Bariko, and Chief Investigations at the WJC, Stephen Karmodi, represented by the Regional Manager for West and Central Africa, established a framework for cooperation to combat transnational organized criminal networks, trafficking in wildlife, fish, and timber. The MOU will strengthen intelligence sharing, enhance forensic and legal collaboration, and support future programs under the Nigerian Wildlife Law Enforcement Task Force. The MOU will support future programs under the Nigerian Wildlife Law Enforcement Task Force. According to the NESRIA DG, the MOU aligns perfectly with Nigeria's obligations under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, and demonstrates government's determination to protect biodiversity, conserve threatened species, and ensure sustainable managed wildlife resources for future generations. NESRIA remains committed to working with the WJC to ensure that Nigeria does not serve as a safe haven or transit hub for wildlife traffickers. Executive Director of the Wildlife Justice Commission, Olivia Swack Goldman, in a statement said the collaboration with NESRIA would bring in fresh vigor into wildlife enforcement activities in the country. Now, the Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and the Creative Economy has received students from Namibia on a courtesy tour visit. Gufan Shaji Wanyi reports that the visits highlights the importance of cultural and educational exchanges in strengthening bilateral ties between the two countries.
Nigeria has a policy of preservation of our cultural heritage. Our cultural heritage is all-encompassing, from art to architecture to our fabric to our food. So Nigeria has a policy of that preservation.
Our theme, as we came to visit, our theme is aligning socio-economic development with security and defense industry growth for peace and stability and mutual relations. And with that in mind, Nigeria has been a big brother to Namibia for many, many years, and it's the people of Nigeria who
benefits both nations. The Committee of Youth on Mobilization and Sensitization has passed a vote of confidence on the Minister and Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Women Affairs following the amicable resolution of a recent protest that rocked the ministry. The Director General of the Youth Forum, Obinna Nwaka, made the announcements while addressing a delegation of Nigerian youths in Abuja. Thomas Ogbetere reports.
For some times now, staff of the Ministry of Women Affairs have been seeking better working conditions. Now, it seems there is a mutual understanding after several disagreements. The Committee of Youth on Mobilization and Sensitization, CYMS, are impressed by this development and are here to commend all parties for closing ranks. Director General of the Youth Group, Obinna Nwaka, urges the ministry's leadership and staff to continue working together in support of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He also called on Nigerian youth to collaborate with both the federal and the state governments in nation building and development process.
That there is need for us to put into our weight to call for peaceful coexistence among the staff. I'm appealing to young people to do what? To take every meaningful program that the federal government has laid before them, take advantage of them, and make a very good impact from it.
That's what they have equally come together and they have resolved. And going forward, definitely, it shall be an Eldorado for the ministry.
The need for all citizens of Nigeria, especially the youths, to always collaborate with the government of the day was part of the resolution at this meeting.
There is importance in the collaboration because one thing are the young people, they cannot do it alone. Also the federal government, they cannot do it alone. If you look at other countries in the world that are developed today, they utilize the strength of young people to develop their nations. So both the government and the youth, they need this collaboration to move this country forward.
Because in order for development, sustainable development to be feasible, for it to take place, then we have to continue to work on that peaceful path.
They reaffirm the critical role of the youths in nation building, urging them to be active participants in shaping the country's future. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
Now, when Nigeria's labour voice walks into the halls of arts, it is not just about wages, it's about defending creativity, culture and the dignity of work in a fast-changing economy. This was what's played out as the leadership of the Radio, Television and Theatre Arts Workers Union, RATAU, met with that of the National Gallery of Arts, Abuja. More on this from Chinenye Nwoye.
They always say that the eyes are useless when the mind is blind. In the visual art, only eyes that are visible could see what imagination that will be transformed through imagery.
This conversation between the National President of RATAU and the Director General of the National Gallery of Arts, Federal Ministry of Information, Abuja, extends beyond salaries. It is about identity. The visit is not just a friendship or solidarity visit. It is about building bridges between arts and work, and how RATAU intends to use its influence to promote cultural workers' welfare.
We have a membership strength that is very impressive that come from the National Gallery of Arts, and they are very critical in Union.
The National Gallery of Art is an agency under the Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and the Creative Economy. We have a very specific mandate to showcase and also promote Nigerian art and appreciation, also preserve the Nigerian cultural heritage and historical and artistic heritage of the country. We are responsible for hosting permanent and moving exhibitions, just to name a few.
It is hoped that this collaboration and partnership will help in promoting cultural and creative industries as well as preserve workers' welfare. In Abuja, Chinenye Nwoye, NTA News.
And that concludes the News Desk at 3 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.